Dun, dun, dun!
What are you doing?
I'm going to perform an illusion.
Xand, it's not a magic trick, it's science. It's an optical illusion.
Can I keep wearing my cape?
No, go and get changed.
Our optical illusion is going to show how your brain processes visual information. Here we've got a lovely batch of fresh cupcakes, but which of the two middle cakes is bigger? First up is Grace.
This cake is worth £1. How much would you pay for that cake?
£1.30?
You think £1.30, so you think it's about 30% bigger?
The bigger it is, the more it should cost, because it's more yummy.
More yumminess.
More yumminess.
You pay for the yumminess.
So you're sure that that cake is about a third bigger than that cake on the left?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, if this yummy cake is £1, how much would people pay for this even yummier cake?
I would pay £1.50.
You pay £1.50.
Probably about £1.75.
Do you think that one is 75p bigger than that one?
Yeah.
£1.50.
£2.
£2.
I'd say £2 as well. It's taller. I think
wider.
It's taller.
I'd say it definitely looks bigger and fatter.
Well, if you said you'd pay more for the bigger cake on the left, you'd be out of pocket, because believe it or not, they're the same size.
Gracie, what would you say if I told you those two cakes are exactly the same size?
You're mad.
Incredible.
You still think that one's bigger?
Yeah.
It's weird.
Yeah, really weird.
I don't get it.
So why do you think that one looks bigger?
Is it because of the size of the cakes around it? They're tiny.
Yes.
Those ones are massive.
Yep, they've got it.
This trick is known as the Ebbinghaus illusion.
It demonstrates that our brain doesn't see the size of things as they really are, but rather as they appear compared to what's around them.
Both cakes are exactly the same size, but the one on the left appears larger because it's surrounded by smaller cakes.
Right, Xand, let's take the tray further down the street and see if we can find some more volunteers for our experiment. Wait a minute. The middle cakes have gone. Can I have a sweet?
Oh, no.
You've got loads there. Surely you can spare me one.
Ordinarily, Chris, I'd love to, but these have got to last me all the way to lunchtime.
Till lunchtime? But you're never going to eat all those before lunchtime. Go on, give me one.
All right, I tell you what, you can have one.
Brilliant.
You can have one if you can grab it before me. Now, I'm going to give you a head start. Put your hand there. Your hand's closer than mine, and all you have to do is grab it when I say go.
Looks like I'm going to get my sweet after all.
3, 2, 1, go.
That is an amazing trick. Do you think I could do it?
Oh, I think so. It is an amazing trick, isn't it?
Great. I'm going to go and try it myself.
All right, good luck. Wait a minute. He only needs one sweet to do the trick. What am I going to eat until lunch?
I've headed to a town centre to see how many sweets I can win.
Time to see if I'm as good at this as Dr. Xand and Benson Mines. Now, do you reckon you can get the sweet before me if we both go on go?
Definitely.
You sure of that?
Yeah.
3, 2, 1, go. Go.
How do you do that?
Go. What am I going to do with all my sweets? I keep winning every time. Go.
What did you do?
Go. Miles away.
How did you get that?
Go. Oh, miles away. Go.
Oh,
Yes, miles away. Go. Catherine, what are you doing? Are you feeling all right?
Yeah.
Now, although all these people had quick reaction times, they're not going to beat me. And that's because there is a slight delay in the word go leaving my mouth, getting into their ears, being processed in their brain, and then their hand moving. Whereas in my brain, because I've said it, my hand starts to move immediately without any delay, no matter how small. Well, that's my mind bent. Is yours?
Your body is an amazing machine, but it can't do anything without your brain. Now, your brain is what makes you, you. But it also tells the different parts of your body what to do.
So if I want to move my fingers, I have to send an electrical signal from here to here. And that moves really fast. It goes at over 250 miles an hour. That's faster than a Formula 1 racing car.
So we want to know more about where in the brain these signals come from. And in order to do that, we're going to use this multi-pulse transcranial magnetic stimulator.
It's a big magnet.
But it's a cool big magnet. It sends electromagnetic pulses to the brain which interfere with the brain's own electrical signals. And that means we can use it to work out which bit of the brain does what. Let's give this brain scrambler a whirl.
Now, Chris, what I want you to do first of all is reach up with your left hand and pick your nose.
All right.
Perfect. Did it perfectly. That's lovely. Now I'm going to get you to do the same thing again, but this time I'm going to try and interfere with the brain scrambler. So, Chris, when you're ready, pick your nose.
Every time Chris's finger wiggles, that's the magnet or brain scrambler interfering with his brain's signals, which means he can't pick his nose properly.
You miss.
But the magnetic brain scrambler is also showing us which part of Chris's brain controls his left hand.
I'm on the right side of Chris's body, but it's his left hand that's twitching. Now that's because your brain is wired back to front. So the right side of his brain controls the left side of his body and vice versa. So let's now try it on the other side. And you ready? Go.
So now I'm interfering with the left side of Chris's brain, and look, his right hand is all over the place.
I feel like a cup of tea.
That sounds lovely.
Actually, it's me that's drinking the tea, and it's cold tea, but you'll see why. I reckon we can have a bit of fun with this brain scrambler. Oop, there it goes. The brain scrambler is interfering with our brain's normal signals, and it's creating a right mess.
Ever wondered why you have to go to sleep?
Ever heard someone snore so loudly the room rumbles?
We're about to tell you why.
This is a case for investigation, ouch.
You spend a third of your life doing absolutely nothing.
I'd hardly call picking my nose nothing.
I'm not talking about your disgusting personal habits. I'm talking about sleep. All animals do it, including us, and it's essential for life. So to find out more about it, we're going to bed.
To discover what happens when we sleep, we're spending the night in this special sleep clinic. But first, we need to get wired up by a team of sleep experts. All this equipment will give us information about what our bodies do when we sleep.
I suppose you're also going to have your bear wired up. Of course I am. Mr. Grumble has a lot of trouble sleeping sometimes.
Monitoring us will be sleep expert Dr. Wahab Dehamek.
So sleep is not just sleep. There are different types of sleep.
Absolutely.
And some of the types of sleep relax your brain and recharge that, and other types of sleep recharge your body.
Basically, yes. And that's why we need sleep.
Night, Chris.
Lights on.
It's time for us to go to sleep. Dr. Wahab sets the computers up to record the night ahead, and I'm hoping this will prove, once and for all, that Xand snores. He's always denied it. Mr. Grumbles knows I never snore.
Night, Mr. Grumbles.
In a single night, your brain cycles through different types of sleep every 90 minutes until you get up. You'll start with a light sleep. This lasts around 20 minutes, and your breathing and heart rate slow down. You can still be easily woken at this stage. Then you fall into a deeper sleep. It's at this stage where some people walk or talk in their sleep because their body is still active even though their brain is resting. And then you start REM sleep, which stands for rapid eye movement. It's in this stage where your brain is organising itself and you'll have a dream or two. And then your body repeats this sleep cycle about 4 or 5 times in a night. Next morning, and it's time to get up.
Other people say I snore, but I really maintain that I don't. I think they're all liars.
All will be revealed shortly, Xand. I didn't sleep very well at all. We're both looking a bit weary. Oh dear. Let's find out why we're both so tired.
Chris, this line here, that's for when you were awake, and then here you slept. That's different sleep staging. And then here you were awake, and then you slept again, and then you were awake.
So in terms of a good night's sleep, I only had, 2.5 hours? Although I was in bed for 6 hours, I only was actually asleep for 2.5, and that is just not enough. And not only does my body feel very tired, my brain feels really thick-headed and unrested as well.
So how did mine compare to Chris's?
You had more sleep,
And how long did I sleep?
4.5 hours.
So I got twice as much sleep as you.
But even 4 hours sleep isn't enough for your body to rest, especially when you're young. Children need at least 8 hours because you're still growing and your body needs to work harder. Chris and I are adults and we can get away with less, but it still makes us feel very tired.
What about dreaming? How do we compare on that?
Well, Chris, I don't think you had a dream at all. Xand, you had 2.
Although I had a full sleep cycle, it was pretty restless, and I just didn't dream, which can happen sometimes.
But look at this section of the graph. I had lots of rapid eye movements, and this suggests that I was dreaming.
How long were the dreams? They
Well-
short dreams or?
One of them is half an hour, was half an hour.
Really?
Yes.
Half an hour of dreaming? What about snoring?
You did snore,
I
Xand.
did.
Yeah.
Okay, Xand, there's the proof. You do snore.
Oh dear.
How much of the time was I snoring?
7% of the night.
Not everyone snores like me, but people who do snore can't move air freely through their nose or mouth during sleep. So the air vibrates against the relaxed muscles in their throat and nose, and that's what makes that snoring sound.
You sleep for a third of your life, but you're not doing nothing while that's going on. You're recharging your brain and you're recharging your body. So if you don't get enough sleep, that's going to affect everything you do, and you'll feel absolutely rubbish. Accident in emergency departments, doctors and nurses need to act fast.
Especially when things like this happen.
In Manchester, 6-year-old Rosie has been brought in by ambulance with a potentially serious head injury.
In fact, head injuries can be so serious that the hospital has a trauma team of 12 doctors and nurses on standby in case Rosie needs to have surgery or further tests. Speed is vital, so everyone is ready for action.
Rosie didn't recognise me at all and really looked quite unwell. It was very worrying that I wasn't able to console her because she didn't know who I was.
Luckily, she recognises her dad now, but what actually happened?
Rosie and her friends were playing tag in the playground. She and her friend were running away in different directions to escape being tagged.
But they were concentrating so hard on escaping that when they changed directions, they headed straight towards each other. And whack! They both banged heads. Hard.
Time for a trip to the hospital. Ouch!
Meet Professor Simon Carley. He's heading up the trauma team.
OK, did you get a glucose?
Yes, it was 8.4.
Thank you very much for your time. It sounds from the paramedics that her behaviour's not been normal and she's been vomiting several times. What the team's worried about at the moment is whether or not she's got any bleeding inside her skull that might be pressing on the brain and causing significant brain damage.
Professor Simon will need to do a thorough examination of Rosie's head, but in the meantime, he prescribes some sophisticated emergency medicine. Cuddles.
Cuddles are slightly more effective than any medicines that we have.
And luckily, there's a professor of cuddleology on hand, Dad.
Time now for Rosie's special test on her head. It's called a CT scan. It's a bit like an X-ray, and the images will show Professor Simon the details of Rosie's brain and skull to help him check for damage.
There we go. That's nice and comfy, isn't it?
Nice pinny, Dad.
Look at this. I want to take this home. It's so nice.
Actually, the pinny means Dad can stay in the room with Rosie because it protects his body from the X-rays.
A few snaps later, and the results are in.
This is Rosie's brain. So, how's it looking?
That looks like a normal skull and a normal brain. There's no evidence that we can see at this time of any bleeding at all, and that's great.
Yep, it's a huge relief for Rosie's mum and dad, and it means the reason she's been feeling unwell is because she's got concussion.
Inside your head, your brain is surrounded by fluid to protect it. But sometimes, when you bang your head hard, your brain moves about and knocks into the sides of your skull. This can make you feel confused, unwell, and be sick. But in Rosie's case, these symptoms soon disappear.
And after a few hours rest, there's been a transformation.
I feel great.
Yep, believe it or not, this is the same girl.
Back to normal and ready to leave the hospital.
I'm going home.
This has been quite an experience for Rosie and her family. But thanks to the skilled trauma team, she's got her groove back.
Bye, Rosie.
Did you know there are 100,000 miles of blood vessels in your brain? That's enough to go around the Earth 4 times.
Wow, that's amazing. And so's this.
In an ordinary city, high above the streets, lies a deserted urban playground awaiting a prime performance. Ready to see some serious skills?
This is John Farnworth, and he's a football freestyling genius.
He holds 5 world records and can do 107 shin keepy-uppies in a minute.
His specialities also include
toe keepy-uppies,
round the world,
the side-to-side on head,
and heel keepy-uppies.
This keepy-uppy king trains for more than 40 hours a week, and he's completed the London Marathon whilst keeping the ball in the air.
So how does John's amazing body do this?
Believe it or not, the secret to John's success lies in his brain.
Certain tricks are harder than others, but they all require a lot of concentration to do.
When it comes to the brain, up front is the big lad, the cerebrum. That's what allows you to think, make decisions, and learn.
The cerebrum houses the motor cortex. It's the midfield maestro, pulling all the strings, telling our muscles to move when we want them to.
Playing at the back, there's the cerebellum, crucial for balance and coordination. It's the big match player with a vital role in everything you're seeing right now.
Now that's amazing.
Can we have our ball back, please, mister?
Ouch! Ow!
Did that hurt?
Yes, get off.
Okay, what about this? No, but get off, I don't like it.
We all experience pain. You've got over 3 million pain receptors throughout your body, but some areas like this have more receptors than other areas, like this.
Now, I know I shouldn't be pinching you, Xand, but it was all to explain pain receptors. Pain receptors are specialised nerve endings. They act as messengers, so when they detect something painful, they tell your brain you're hurt.
Pain can be really useful sometimes because it stops you accidentally damaging your body.
But why is it we feel pain differently in different situations? Sometimes you can stub your toe and be in terrible agony. Other times you cut yourself really badly playing football and you don't notice till the end of the match. And that's because pain is in your brain.
And this means that you can reduce the amount of pain you experience, and we're going to show you how.
But before I show you this clever trick, I'm going to inflict a little bit of pain on Xand so that we can see how a person reacts normally.
Oh, good.
This is a heat stimulation thermo.
It's a pain machine.
I'm going to put it on the back of Xand's hand and turn up the temperature until he can't stand it anymore.
And I'm going to do the same to him, and we'll see who can take more pain.
It's a little bit dramatic, isn't it?
This medical device is used by scientists to test people's sensitivity. The end of the rod will get increasingly hot the more I turn this dial up. It won't burn, but let's see how much heat Xand can take by letting his body send pain signals to his brain just like normal.
Okay, ready, Xand?
Yep. Ah!
No, it's not on yet. Put your hand back. Right. So that's the temperature of the probe. I'm going to start turning it up.
Remember, we can only do this because we're doctors.
Yeah, it gets warm. Yeah, it's warm now.
Let's turn it up a bit more.
I can definitely feel that there's a hot thing. Ah, yeah, okay.
And a bit more again.
So that's really burning now. Yeah, ow. Yeah, that's enough.
Xand has managed to stand the pain up to a temperature of 45.2 degrees.
It was definitely painful. It wasn't just you kind of wimping out.
No, it was painful. It was getting more painful. And there was definitely a moment where it just suddenly was just like, oh, no, I want to take my hand away now. That's too painful.
Okay, my go now.
Now I'm going to try the same thing on Chris.
Only I've got a trick up my sleeve. I'm going to distract my brain, and that means I should be able to take more pain than Xand.
So let's see how long Chris can last.
Chris, this is going to hurt you a lot more than it's going to hurt me.
We'll see about that. I'm going to use a different technique to Xand. I'm going to distract myself, and I'm going to really pretend that this doesn't hurt, and I reckon I can take more pain. I'm on a beach. I'm on a really sunny beach. I'm feeling really good.
You're not on a beach, Chris. You're in a lab with a red-hot probe sticking into your hand.
It's not red hot. It's barely hot. Is it on?
How's that beach feeling now?
The beach is quite hot now. Okay, I'm done.
So let me tell you how you did.
48.2 degrees.
So that beats you by 3 degrees.
No.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
There's absolutely no way I could have gone another 3 degrees.
Yeah, it really does work. So next time you've got to go to the doctors and have an injection, try it and see how you get on.
Yes, it's a clever trick. If you think of something relaxing, you'll find it easier to cope with pain.
Don't feel a thing.
Good morning.
What do you mean, good morning? You're late.
It's nice to meet you. It's nice to meet you.
I see where this is going. Yes, Xand, it's nice to meet you.
I didn't just bring my fake hands to fool Chris. We're going to be using them for today's mind-bending trick.
So can you put your hand right there, as if that was your other hand, basically, and then stick your other hand under the cloth. Yeah, that's perfect. So it's next to that hand.
Today's trick is going to show how what you see affects how you feel.
We're stroking the person's real hand behind the screen at the same time as stroking the fake hand, which is in front of them.
Is that plastic hand beginning to feel like your hand? Yeah?
Keep looking at it.
It actually feels like that's my hand. It doesn't look real, but it feels real.
Are you feeling like I'm brushing your hands?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, that feels like you're brushing my hand. It's really strange, yeah. I feel like it's my hand.
Now we've got the illusion going, it's time to see how they react with a fake spider on the fake hand.
Oh! That worked really nicely.
I felt like it was actually on my real hand. Oh!
Did you feel like the spider was on your hand?
Yeah, I think I did. But it weren't, because my hand was there, so why would I feel it on there? It's a really weird sensation.
Did you think you had a spider on your hand? Yeah. You stay focused on that hand.
So we managed to trick plenty of people, but how does it work?
So there's a bit of your brain called the premotor cortex, and that brings together your senses of touch, of position, and of vision, so that your body can figure out what's happening in the world around it. And what's so interesting about this experiment is that your sense of vision is the most important sense. And so your brain actually temporarily rewires itself to adopt the plastic hand as your own. Amazing. Well, Chris, fooling all those people has tired me out. Give us a hand.
Son, I'm not falling for the old fake hand trick again.
Xand, what on earth are you doing?
Oh, Chris, now I'm about to meet two ice skaters from CBBC's Ice Stars, and I'm trying to figure out how they do their amazing spins.
Whoa. You're not going to wear that, are you?
Of course I am. It was very expensive. Don't you like it?
No, I do. I like it very much. I just think you don't want to embarrass the skaters because they might not have any clothing that's quite so,
sparkly.
Sparkly, exactly, yes.
That would be bad to embarrass them. I'll go and change.
Well, that saved him from embarrassing both of us. Time for investigation, ouch.
Meet Chloe and Alexia. They star in CBBC's Ice Stars. They can spin on the ice at incredible speeds without getting dizzy and falling over.
I'm going to have a go at spinning, Xand.
I thought you'd never ask. Hang on, I'm going to come to the side of you, okay?
Bend.
Okay, so bend.
And then
Yeah.
kind of rotate yourself and then pull in.
Now, my problem is that I'm already dizzy.
Really?
And then you've got to skate off and keep... I can, like... Oh.
Maybe a little more practice will help me out.
Yeah, I got him.
I think I'd better leave this to the professionals.
So when you're doing your spins, how many times do you think you go around?
Maybe about 25-ish, yeah, or maybe more.
25 complete turns around.
Yeah.
And at the end of that, do you feel dizzy at all?
We don't really have time to be dizzy, I don't think so.
Now, I know you thought I was brilliant, but I actually can't compete with Alexia and Chloe on the ice. So I've got a little experiment to see how we all deal with dizziness and the safety of dry land. Right, you ready?
We're each going to do a spin, followed by the simple task of walking to the table and pouring a glass of water. Let's see how I fare against these two.
I can't find it out. Okay, hang on. Okay.
That wasn't very successful.
Okay, and you ready? Okay, go.
Let's see how the ice skaters do.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow. What, nothing? So that's why I couldn't do the spins on the ice, probably, isn't it? That's probably the only reason.
When you spin around, the fluid in your inner ear spins too. When you stop spinning, the fluid keeps moving, but your eyes tell you that you're still, and that makes you feel dizzy. The skaters are brilliant at dealing with the effects of spinning, but how do they do it? I've come to meet Dr. Barry Seamungle, one of the country's top experts in dizziness.
Now, all of us know what dizziness feels like, don't we? But for some people, it can actually be quite a serious problem, can't it?
If that happens to you out of the blue, when you're not expecting it, this can be due to problems in the inner ear or the brain.
I know you've done a study on ballet dancers. Why have you studied them?
Ballet dancers have actually been training for most of their life, and that suppresses their sensations of dizziness. So what are those brain mechanisms that allow ballet dancers to not feel dizzy? If we can understand that, we can use that to treat patients.
This is Dr. Barry's Dizzy Lab. The most important part of it is this, a special chair that allows Dr. Barry to see how different people deal with dizziness. He's going to run some tests on me and the ice stars to see how differently our bodies cope. This experiment will be conducted in the dark, so I can't see when I'm turning. After just under a minute in the chair, something very strange happens.
I feel completely still. It's really interesting. Like, I would absolutely promise you that I'm not moving.
Yeah, that's because the fluid in the canals in the inner ear are now moving together with your skull. And what we're going to do, we're going to stop the chair.
Whoa. It just feels like I'm definitely moving in the opposite direction.
The fluid in my inner ears is still spinning, and you can see from my eyes flicking that my brain still thinks I'm moving. Now it's the girls' turn. Let's see if when the chair stops, they still think they're moving.
Do you feel you're moving?
No.
Not moving at all?
No.
Well done. Okay, do you feel that you're spinning?
No.
You don't?
No.
Not at all?
No.
I've never seen anyone with zero response.
She just isn't getting dizzy at all.
At all. When the chair stopped, you were feeling as if you were turning for more than half a minute. These guys were right. They felt no sensation of self-motion because their brains are better than yours in suppressing dizziness.
All right, don't get too smug.
Thank you, Alexia and Chloe. Dr. Barry's research has shown that the part of the brain which deals with dizziness is actually smaller in people who train to spin like Chloe and Alexia.
Incredible! What's amazing about this is it could have very real medical benefits. If Dr. Barry can train people's brains to cope with dizziness, it could really help them lead better lives. Right, I'm off to practice my spinning around.
I'm not sure that's how you do it, Xand.
Here at the Brain Cut Room at University College London, and I'm about to get very close to a real human brain. This is not for the squeamish.
We've got exclusive access to this human brain to show you all its inner workings. This organ controls every single thing you do. Even now, your brain is busy sending messages all over your body.
Now, this brain feels rubbery because it's been preserved. But the brain inside your head right now is soft and squishy.
That's because our brains are actually made up of 75% water, and the rest is mostly fat. The average adult brain weighs 1.5 kilos. That's as much as 3 tins of baked beans. Try picking them up and you'll see how much weight a neck has to carry. But there's more to find out than that. So let's pick the brains of a specialist. Meet Dr. Helen Ling, a brain doctor or neurologist.
So Helen, why does the brain look like this? Why is it all wrinkly?
Well, the surface of our brain is actually folded. These bumps and grooves increase the surface area of our brain.
So if we unfolded all this, it would be enormous.
And we'd need a head the size of a surfboard.
How does the brain sit inside the skull? Is it just resting gently on the bones?
Oh, our brain is actually surrounded by a clear, colorless fluid, and it acts like a cushion that protects the brain.
So it's like when you're at the swimming pool, if you go and lie on a lie-low and you feel very weightless, that's the same thing the brain is doing. It's just chilling out in this fluid inside your skull.
Hey, baby. But it does a lot more than just chill out. This big, wrinkly structure is controlling your body 24/7, yes, even when you're asleep. There are different sections in charge of different jobs, but which bit does what? Well, toward the front is the motor cortex. This tells you when to move by sending signals down your spinal cord.
And when I'm hungry and my stomach's gurgling, which bit's doing that?
It will be the hypothalamus.
So that bit, this bit right in the middle of the brain?
That's right, right here.
So when I'm hungry, this bit of the brain, right in the middle, sends out chemicals that tell me to eat. And when I've eaten, it sends out chemicals telling me I'm full and I can stop eating. What about memories? Where are they kept?
Well, the new memories are kept in the hippocampus, which is right inside here. You can actually see it over here. And the hippocampus is like a temporary drive in the computer, so new memory is kept there.
But when we're asleep, the hippocampus backs up new memories so you can remember them years later. So, although the brain is full of fat and water, it's actually one of the most amazing computers on Earth.
Not bad for something that looks like a sponge.
What are you doing?
For today's mind-bending trick, Xand is going to need warm facial muscles. Are you ready, Xand? It's quite a complicated vocal procedure.
Well, the more complicated, the better for me.
Now, can you say the word far?
Far.
Can you say the word bar?
Bar.
I think you're ready.
Didn't seem that complicated.
This lot are about to get their minds bent. We're showing them a video of Xand repeating a word.
Bar. Bar. Bar.
OK, what sound is Dr. Xand making?
Sheep.
Bar. Like a sheep, right?
Like a sheep. OK, yeah. All right, let's watch the next video.
Far. 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 Far.
Now, what sound is Dr. Xand making in that video? Does anyone think he's still saying bar?
No.
No, he's definitely saying far.
Are you ready to play at home?
OK, everyone look at the left.
Look at this one. Bar.
Whilst looking at the left-hand Xand, what word can you hear?
Bar. 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 Bar.
OK, now who's hearing far? You're all hearing far. OK, now everyone look at the right.
Bar.
Looking at the right-hand Xand, what word can you hear now?
Bar. Bar. Bar.
Now who thinks it's bar?
What if we told you that only one word was being said?
Bar.
In reality, Xand is only ever saying the word bar.
Bar. Bar. Bar.
The Xand on the left is miming the word far.
Bar.
So, depending on which Xand you look at, you hear different words. Even though the only word he's saying is bar.
I don't get it.
Have we bent your mind?
Yeah.
So what do you think is going on?
Sammy?
Is it because when your brain looks at one of them, it like maybe changes it?
Sammy's nailed it. That's
Yeah.
really good. So you're lip reading, basically. So even when you're hearing a sound, you trust your eyes more than your ears. What this trick demonstrates is the dominance of vision over all your other senses. So even though the sound you're hearing the whole time is
bar,
when your eyes see Xand's mouth make the shape
bar,
that's what you hear. But the sound hasn't changed at all.
and what's amazing about this is, it's a video of me, and I know what sound I was making, and I'm still fooled. Mind fent.
I think you mean bent.
That's what I said.
Today's mind-bending trick is all about distraction. If you're sufficiently distracted, you might not notice something that's going on right in front of your eyes. That's not how it works, Xand.
Who said that?
Today, the children at this school think they're here to learn about bones, but we've got a trick up our sleeve. See if you can spot it.
I want you to count all the bones that you can see in this picture. Go.
And the first team get right on it, before we've even had time to arrange the scenery.
And stop. OK, how'd you do?
I went to 49.
You got 49, Mohammed?
52.
52.
47.
47.
48.
48.
Well, they were all pretty close, but did anyone notice something strange? Let's have another look. right there, Xand was replaced by a fake Xand, and nobody noticed. How far can we push this? We give the group another task.
Starting now. Count all the bones in that picture.
And at the same time, swap fake Xand with Mr. Hoskins, their teacher. Somebody they should definitely recognise.
Okay, look at me. Answers?
33.
But amazingly, still nobody notices.
I now want you to count the backbones. Go.
Now we get extreme. I'm going to swap places with Chris. There's that scenery coming through again. And right there, Xand and I swap over.
And time's up. Okay. Now, when you were counting, did you notice anything else? Maybe not on the board.
Finally they've spotted it.
Oh, Mr. Hoskins.
And all our groups fell for it.
You guys. You're him.
I didn't notice anyone.
You didn't notice at all?
No.
Have you ever seen this man before?
No.
Really? Because he was standing right in front of you a few minutes ago. Dr. Chris?
That worked pretty well.
I was so confused.
Why do you think it worked? How are we able to fool you so easily?
Well, we were so focused, like we weren't aware what's happening around us.
Iman's exactly right. When your brain's concentrating on one thing really hard, it tunes out everything else that's going on around you, even so that you'll miss something quite important that's happening right in front of your eyes. Stop that. Let's head back to Accident and Emergency.
Go on.
For another curious case.
Go on.
Well, in Accident and Emergency, 7-year-old Jago is in with his mum. Go on.
I cut my head.
Right, how'd that happen?
I had feet on my chair and I fell back.
Go on.
I leaned back because it took a long time to fall. I tried to lean forward, but it was heavy on me, so it tilted backwards.
OK, well, let's find out more. Jago and his pal Xander were waiting patiently to play a game of squash, but they soon got bored and started climbing on their seats. Ooh, I bet they were pretending to be mountain goats, Chris. Dangerous. Or clowning around in the circus. Even more dangerous. Or maybe they were on a spacewalk. No, Xand. Jago's seat tipped backwards and he bashed his head on the wall. Ouch!
Yeah, I started screaming.
Quite dramatic.
Examining Jago's bash bonds is Dr. Helen Stewart. First, Dr. Stewart does some tests to make sure that Jago's brain is functioning correctly. Good reflexes, Jago. Brain's good, but what about that noggin?
Sorry, that's your hair. I'm just...
Yes, my hair.
After some of Jago's hair is removed, the doc can finally see the wound.
That's actually quite deep. He's got a cut that's about 1.5 centimetres in length, but the edges are quite straight and come together quite nicely. So it's quite deep, so I thought it might need a stitch, but actually we'll probably be able to glue the wound shut.
There's a red bloody bit there.
Nice hair, Jago.
It's like werewolf hair.
Werewolf hair?
Stop it.
Fixing Jago's head is Sister Anna Cowlishaw.
And quick clean. Then we'll stick it back together with glue.
Quick snap for the family album. Look away if you're squeamish. The edges of Jago's wound are held together, and a few spots of special skin glue are applied.
Has it closed?
You're done.
Let's have a look. Great job, Sister Anna.
Jago can go home now, and his head will be better in about 5 days.
And what has Jago learned?
Not climbing on the back of a chair.
Sounds like a really good lesson, yeah.
You said it, Mum. Bye!
Today's mind-bending trick is one for your eyes, but to do it, Xand and I need to change colour.
I don't remember saying you could do this. You know I only ever wear green.
All right, son, calm down. It won't last forever.
3 groups of children at this school are here to play one of our mind-bending tricks.
We're going to show you this picture. I'm going to make you look at it very hard. And then we're going to switch it to a black and white picture.
Are there any colours in this picture?
No.
In order for it to work, you have to keep looking at that dot. And even when the picture changes, and you'll want to look at the rest of the picture, you still have to keep looking at the dot. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You can play at home too. Are you ready?
Just remember, keep your eyes fixed on the dot in the middle of the picture.
And don't move your eyes when the picture changes. Keep focused on that dot.
Keep looking.
Ready for the change? Don't move your eyes.
Do you see this photo in colour? Now move your eyes. Do you see it's actually in black and white?
Whoa!
Yeah.
How did this lot get on?
I saw blue. I saw blue and green.
You saw us in colour, basically. Yeah.
And all the groups saw it.
So just to be clear, guys, at no stage is that black and white picture ever coloured. There's no colour. It just goes from weird orange to black and white. So why do you think we had to show you weird colours?
Because they were negative, like
What do you mean by negative?
the opposite colour.
Omar's got the right idea. First, we showed the negative image, which has the opposite colours of all those in the original. As you can see on the colour wheel, the opposite to blue and green is orange and red, so our blue and green tops have become orangey red.
So why do we then see colour on the black and white picture when there is none? At the back of your eyes, you have cells called photoreceptors, and they detect light. And you have different photoreceptors for different colours. But when you've been looking at one colour for a long time, the photoreceptors that deal with that colour get tired and switch off a bit.
So when you're looking at our image, the photoreceptors in the back of your eye that deal with orange and red get tired and they take a little break.
When it flips to black and white, your brain isn't getting signals from the orange and red ones anymore. So your blue and green receptors step in to provide the missing colour.
Chris, I'm glad you put me back to my normal colour, but wait a minute!
Ah! You've done it again! I mean, what is this? You know I can't stand wearing blue. I'm going to go and get my bottle of green clothes dye and I'm going to fix this once and for all. Honestly, it's just an absolute disgrace.
Today's mind-bending trick is all about concentration, isn't it, Xand? Xand? What are you doing?
I'm concentrating.
Well, that's not how the trick works.
Hey, you're not fooling me.
These children at this school think they're here to play a simple game.
But we've got a trick up our sleeve.
So what we're going to show you is a video of a ball game, and all you have to do is count the number of passes that the team in white make.
Really good. Let's roll the video.
Time to get counting.
So, how many passes do you think the team in white made?
OK, Joshua.
21.
21. Charles?
21. 22.
The correct answer is 21. But did you spot anything weird?
Did you see anything at all other than the passing?
Just saw the passing.
Just saw the passing.
What we didn't tell you was before the match, Xand dressed up as a gorilla and made an amazing ape appearance during the game.
Let's see if anyone spots it this time.
Nope, no one seems to have noticed.
In fact, it took 3 attempts and then finally...
I saw a gorilla.
A gorilla? You think Cecilia's crazy? There was no gorilla, was there?
So just watch it again. Don't worry about the passes now. Just see if you can see a gorilla.
There is... Wait a minute. There is the gorilla at the back dancing.
Oh, that gorilla.
Oh, that guy that.
And we fooled the other groups too.
Oh, there is that gorilla.
Yes.
Oh, that gorilla.
So why didn't they spot it?
It's because you're looking at them passing the ball, but you don't notice that the gorilla's walking past.
Cecilia is right. You're so busy concentrating on the passes that you don't notice the gorilla in the room.
This is called inattentional blindness, the failure to notice something important because your attention is engaged elsewhere.
So, always keep your eye out for the unexpected.
Well done. I mean, you really got stuck into your part as a gorilla.
Well, you know, Chris, whenever I'm asked to take on a part, I try and really get into it. At one point, I was going to interview a gorilla and ask them about their motivation.
I just meant you've left your gorilla feet on.